Bobby, what do you think went wrong for you guys tonight?
I think we thought it was going to be a little easier than it was at the start, and you got to know there's no easy night, and we got behind, and then I don't think we stuck to what we had success with last game, and that was just getting pucks behind and skating and using our skill once we got into their zone. We were trying to be a little bit too fancy with it early on, and that bit us pretty hard.
What's the group's mentality when you're heading into the third period and down, but you know that you've been able to come back in the past?
Yeah, it's a huge vote of confidence knowing that we've come back in games before, and I think we had a really good mentality going into the third. We just kind of screwed ourselves in the first and part of the second there because we just didn't have the part of the game, and it wore us down, it wore our goalies down, and that was unfair to them that we hung them out to dry. So I think that's where we need to pick it up, and on back-to-back nights, we need to be ready for that first period.
For you personally, it was your first call up to the NHL. How do you adjust coming back into the Marlies lineup?
I think it gets back to what I did early on, which is just compete hard. Like don't worry about the scoring, don't worry about getting chances. Just trust that you're competing hard and in the right spots, and then things will work out for you.
What's the biggest thing you took away from being up with the Leafs?
I think that everything matters. Like you can't take a shift off, you can't take a second off, half of a shift. Because you're going to get burnt. And at that level, the guys are so good that any inch you give them, they're going to take it and they're going to capitalize on it. So just being smart like that.
How big to get a couple of goals? That seemed to be the only thing that was missing from your game up in the NHL.
Yeah, it feels good. It's nice to score always. It'd be a lot nicer if we win the game on those for sure.
Yeah. You scored. You came close a couple of times up there, though. That was a good experience for you, though, in that, and knowing you can at least create the chances and eventually finish them?
Yeah, definitely. The hope is to eventually finish them if I get another opportunity. I think that's like when you should be worried is when you're not getting the chances. So I was trusting that I was getting them, trusting that if I was continuing to work and compete and go hard, that it would go in for me, and hopefully I get another chance.
How big for you guys like you and Dryden, just sent down, but obviously know you have some competition amongst yourselves to get back up there, to get those spots.
Yeah, I mean, there's always competition. There's always guys vying for spots. That's just the business that we live in. But I think when we're here, we're trying to win hockey games, and that's the main focus. And then when you're there, you're trying to help that club win.
When you look at maybe after the All-Star game, the AHL, obviously, what do you think the biggest challenges are for this team specifically?
I think it's a 60 minutes. We showed it last night, and that was huge for us. I think we all felt what it was like, and it's trusting that we need to be that team that brings the 60, brings every hard minute of the whole game moving forward. Because if you have these lapses, these are the ones that come in playoff time that it really makes a difference in a series.
What's your assessment of tonight's game and why you guys couldn't get it done?
It's always tough on back-to-backs, and it's even harder to beat a team twice in a row. We didn't have it to start first half of the game. We kind of let Keith out to dry out there, and we got to be better. And we started to come back to it and play our game, but it wasn't enough.
Are games like this a bit of a wake-up call of what you can see in the playoffs and how every game matters?
Yeah, especially this time of year, every game matters for sure, and these points are important. The only thing we can do now is learn from it and try to be better, take some time over the break and come back and get back to it.
As a player, how is it to adjust out there when Greg switches up the lines to try and bring some energy to the group?
The only thing you can focus on is doing the right things and playing your game, no matter who you're out there with. So it's, it's different when the lines are switched up quite a bit. They haven't been, but, sometimes you need that shake-up, and you just got to go out there and worry about your own game and do what you can to help out your line mates.
Going forward, you guys have a little bit of a break here, but what are some key focuses you want to see with this group going forward?
We want to keep working on the things that we're working on, moving pucks quick up ice, and being sharp and fluid with our puck moving. Getting out of our D zone through the neutral zone and into the offensive zone. There's always things we can work on, and there's things that we do well that we're still going to work on. So we're just going to get back to it.
I saw a bunch of you guys shout out Joseph Blandisi for his 400th professional game. What does a guy like that just bring to an organization?
There's a lot to say about what he brings. I'll be sitting here for hours if I would talk about it all, but he's a great teammate, great guy to have, especially for the young guys on the team. He makes it so easy to play. He's a great line mate, and I know me and Cliffy have a lot of fun playing with him. But he just goes out there every night and works his ass off and does the right things the whole time, and he's an easy guy to get up and play for.
How's this season gone for you, and how much do you relish maybe a chance to get up with the Leafs at some point?
Yeah, I'm not worried about getting up there right now. When the time comes, then I'll be worried about it. But I'm just trying to help this team win right now as much as I can. My focus is on the Marlies right now. It's a great group of guys, and I love every single one of them. And I've been having a blast playing with them. So it's been a great year so far. We just want to, see how long we can take this thing.
Where do you feel your own game's at?
It's probably the best it's ever been so far. I like where I'm at. I'm just going to continue working, and credit to the development staff. I've come a long way since even last year just by working with them, and the coaches and the training staff, strength coaches and everything. It's the best I've felt, the best I've the most confidence I've had, and it helps when you're playing with some pretty good players out there too.
Looking back on over just the first half of the season, what stands out to you most about Greg Moore?
He's done a good job. I think he, especially for being a new coach in the AHL, and he does a good job of managing our time and giving us our breaks when we need it and making sure we're ready to go. And he's an easy guy to play for. He gets along great with all the guys. It's a tight-knit group, even with the coaches and the players. So it's always easy to play for a guy like that. It's tough when you got a coach on your neck and on your back the whole time yelling at you, and he's not like that. He helps his players. He coaches them and guides them, and that's what you want as a player. That's what you want in a coach.
Greg, what was your assessment on the game tonight and where you guys went wrong?
Certainly the first period wasn't what we wanted. They, like we expected, came out really, really hard, physical. They set up their forecheck game before we did. We weren't able to start the sequence of events that allowed us to play like we did yesterday. And then defensively in our D zone, we just didn't box out. We didn't protect our goalie. The couple rebound goals there were a sign of that. And as the game went on, obviously there was a response by our team. They've done a lot of good work this year, and they know what it takes to be competitive. So just a little let down, I guess, on wanting to finish off strong here in these 60 minutes before the break.
Looking at a player like Bobby McMann, 2 goals here tonight, are you impressed by how easily he can adjust right back into the lineup?
Yeah, he's a great hockey player. He's fast for the NHL, let alone the American League, and really powerful. It was a great play by Shazi on the shorthanded goal to outpower that guy and outskate him to get a jump up the ice. And then whether he was purposely shooting to create that rebound or not, but Bobby came in and followed it up and put it away.
When I interviewed Logan during the intermission, he said that it was unacceptable and they needed to turn things around. Knowing the high standards that all the players have for this club, do you think that helps with the confidence in knowing this group can make those comebacks?
Yeah, I think it just helps that we have a lot of veteran guys that care a lot about our team and our season and the individuals, and they have a high expectation, like you said, of how we need to play, what our goals are, and set a standard for every game for full 60 minutes. And it feels like when we have 20 minutes where we kind of let down or don't have our game, you can tell the irritation that players have, and that's a good thing. We were a super competitive group and proud of the guys for being that and wanting to be that.
What's it been like for you to have Hunt, McMann, those guys come down from the Leafs? Like, they obviously have an internal competition up there. Do you think they carry that down here, and it's important for them to continue it here?
I mean, they're all athletes and they're competitive, so I would assume they're all wanting to get to where their goals and dreams are, but what's special is while they're here, they don't show that kind of body language. They don't verbally say anything that would allude to them being individual. We have a good team in our room. That's why I think we've been successful. The culture's good. Our leadership would not allow that to happen if that was the case. And overall, all these guys are just great people, and they're just coming back, working hard, and helping our team.
Great to see Bobby score. He did everything but score when he was up there in that stretch with the Leafs.
Yeah, it always helps when they come back and they start getting on the score sheet. It was nice for Hunt today to get a goal with us. Really patient play by him. On the 2-on-1, it was a good pass early by Steves, and then not to just force a shot, he didn't feel it, then he took it behind the net, and I asked him after if he had purposely banked that shot, and he said yes, and yeah, I don't think I doubted it all because of how he did it. It was about chest high off the guy. So.
And All-Star game, good for your guys to go and get some a little bit of a break and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think everybody's ready for a little bit of a break this time of season. It'll be a special event to take it all in. It'll be fun to go there with some of our players and their families that are going as well, and just kind of take it all in together and meet new people and talk with like-minded people in the game of hockey, and it should be a special time.
What have you liked most about Alex Steves in the last few games?
It's a good question. Steves has been awesome. These last 4 games, I think, are 4 of his best games of the season. He's really driven and determined to be an impactful player, and he's been problem solving all year, what that is for himself, and I feel like he's on a good roadmap right now for what that is, and it's showing up on the score sheet as well, but he's also really hard to play against.
When you look at maybe the sort of back half of the season after the All-Star break, what do you think the biggest things the team needs to look at as a whole to get better at?
I think every team's going to say consistency. We were saying earlier, the high standard of what we expect from ourselves and expect from the room, the team, and the individuals. That's never going to stop. And then, there's a lot of decision making throughout the game, of game management, knowing the clock and the score and what the sequence of events are that allow us to control it, rather than allowing it to be kind of up in the air and not having hope plays and being strong structurally. So, our process will just stay in place and do the same thing we've been doing all year, finding the areas that we need to get better and get better at them.